Welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show with naked truths and well-dressed lies. On David Mitchell's team tonight, a comedian whose performances have put a smile on many people's faces, if not his own. It's Jack D. And a man who's cool, he's hip, he's dench, he's amazeballs, he's OMG, he's the dog's bizzle, he's YOLO. I don't know what any of those words mean. It's Tinchy Strider. And on Lee Mack's team tonight, a comedian who describes himself as a chubby sociopath, which is strange because I've never thought of him as a sociopath. It's Romesh Ranganathan. And the presenter of the National Lottery, where every week some lucky person wins millions of pounds, loses all their friends, breaks up with their spouse, falls out with their family, and ends up living alone in a giant house they paid too much for. It's Gabby Roslin. So we begin with round one. It's Home Truths, where our panellists each read out a statement from the card in front of them. Now, to make things harder, they've never seen the card before. They have no idea what they'll be faced with, and it's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. Romesh, you're up first tonight.
When I was a teacher, whilst trying to explain a tricky concept, I accidentally locked a pupil in a cupboard.
David's team.
OK. What was the concept? Was it the concept of imprisonment?
It was a maths lesson. I was teaching the topic of probability and chance.
What's the chances of getting locked in the cupboard?
Well, that became an extra learning objective. That wasn't the main one. I was trying to get across the idea of
Narnia.
Yeah. I was trying to get them to understand how to explain the concept of probability. So the idea was that if you had, like, an alien arrive on Earth, how would you explain probability?
Which would be the first thing you'd do, wouldn't it?
Yeah. No, actually,
Put the laser down, let me talk to you about maths.
Yeah.
Romesh, what age group was this?
So this is year 8, so
OK.
11, 12 years old.
So...
what happened is I needed somebody to pretend to be an alien.
OK.
So I selected a child from the class. I didn't just go out and look for one.
How did you select? Did you go for the little green one with the pointy ears?
Well, no, actually, what it was is I thought I was doing a good thing because, you know, you get some kids that are sort of... they have problems making friendships and stuff like that. And I had a kid like that in the class, so I thought I'd bring him out of himself.
You chose the kid that got bullied to be the alien. So that the rest of the class can point at him and go, alien.
I mean, to be fair, I thought we were just playing a game. I didn't realise this was an Ofsted inspection. So basically what it was, I was trying to make it realistic.
OK.
So I said to him, why don't we pretend this cupboard is like a transformation chamber? You know,
right.
You go in the cupboard, you go in as a boy.
Oh, it's just getting worse, isn't it? One of my kids came home from school and described this scene. I'd be down that school like a shot.
And how surprised would you then be to see that teacher on the BBC a few years later?
In the current climate, not surprised at all.
Basically, I said to him, you're going to go into the cupboard, you're going to transform into an alien.
What was the concept again you're trying to teach the kid?
Probability.
Probability.
Yeah.
We haven't got to that bit yet. We're going to find out when he steps out.
Oh, right now we're trying to find out how to transform to an alien right now.
That's what we're looking forward to. We're looking forward to him coming out. We never get that far, do we? What am I talking about?
At the next Ofsted inspection, a small skeleton was discovered.
And they said, what are the chances of that? And they said, well, interesting you should ask that. What were you going to do, though? That's what I want to know. If he hadn't have got locked in, what were you going to do?
The idea was that he was going to come out and be the alien, and then I was going to get different kids to...
different kids to... Don't lose confidence.
So, I was going to get different kids to explain to him what probability was. So he was going to be like the dummy alien, and then like he'd be like, boo, boo, boo. And then
Never to be bullied again.
No, I can't help feeling that I'm a little bit under attack here.
It's all right, because you may be lying, in which case you're off the hook. Why does it help to understand probability, to get children to explain it to an alien?
So basically, in order to get the idea that a kid understands a concept, them explaining it and that explanation being clear illustrates that they have learnt it completely.
So Romesh, you've sort of left it that he's in the cupboard. What, he got in.
Yeah.
What happened?
I realised I couldn't open the door to let him out. So I sort of started looking around for other teachers to help me. And they said, actually, the cupboard, it can be opened from the inside. The problem came when I said to him, you're going to have to come out the cupboard, just open it from the inside. And he replied, because he was being an alien.
Right.
So that extended the problem. And he was in there for 20 minutes.
So he came out in the end, he eventually opened it, he came out and...
Well, the lesson was ruined.
What are you thinking, David?
I do know that Romesh used to be a maths teacher.
Oh, OK.
Right.
So, and that, you know, education's loss was show business's gain. There were so many gaps in the story, I just...
Yeah, the story wasn't really adding up, right?
yeah.
For a maths teacher, I like that.
We think it's a lie, do we?
I think it might be.
It's a lie for all of you. OK. Romesh, truth or lie?
The story is true.
It's true. Romesh did accidentally lock one of his pupils in a cupboard. Tinchy, you're next.
Sometimes I pretend to have broken something in my house so that when a man comes round to fix it, I can play him at ping pong.
So hang on, just to be clear, what you're saying is you sometimes pretend that there's something broken in your house to get an handyman round so you can what?
So we can play ping pong.
But why do you get a strange man round to play ping pong?
It's not really a strange man. He's a neighbour, but he's like a handyman. When, like, sometimes, you know, I want to play ping pong, I'll tell him something's
Why
broke.
can't you just tell him you want to play ping pong?
Because, I don't know, I just...
Are you telling me the relationship with your neighbour is so bad that the only way you can get him to come round to your house is by pretending something's broken at your place?
No, it's not that bad. He likes ping pong.
What's he called?
What's he called?
I don't know, I've never met him.
What's he called? Handyman. You could call him Handyman.
But you know, but what's his real name when
What's
you
his
when
real
he's
name?
not
His real name's
handyman?
Paul.
Paul, the handyman.
Paul, yeah, Handyman Paul, really, not
And
Paul
how
the
long have you
handyman.
known Paul for?
I've been living there for maybe the past 3-4 years, so
And
yeah. That
how
long.
many times has he played ping pong with you in that?
Oh, loads of times. Always something wrong in my house.
So you might say, what might be broken, for example?
For example, I might say, OK, the light's off in, like, the conservatory or something, and then...
Conservatory. Oh, you're very grime, aren't you? And, so you put all your hip-hop money into a conservatory, and... so how would you go from the lights broken in the conservatory to... Do you want to get him a table tennis?
Because when he comes round and then, say, for example, sometimes it's not broken, I say, oh, I fixed it as he gets there, and I'm like, are you sure? I'm like, let's pop in for a quick ping-pong game, man.
David, do you play table tennis?
I do, yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Are you good?
And I'm all right.
OK.
But can you fix a light switch? Otherwise, you've got no chance of playing it.
Absolutely not. No.
So how do you serve, David? Do you serve like that? Like that?
David always
or
gets
like
somebody
that?
to serve him.
Tinchy, I'd really like to sort of to get an idea of how you move the conversation to ping pong. So let's say you've broken your TV. So how would it go?
I'll be Paul the handyman.
Hello.
Oh, I haven't opened the door yet.
But,
Is it sticking? I can fix that. Actually, no, I can't, because we're going to have to play table tennis again, aren't we? I know how this goes.
when someone knocks your door, like, knock, knock, I say, who is it? I don't open and say, who is it?
OK.
Who is it?
Paul, the handyman, you phoned me about 3 minutes ago about your television. Who do you think?
Oh, hello, Paul. Yeah. Open the door. You're in. What's up?
What's up? You tell me. It's your telly.
That's
I
what
want
it
to see what is happening.
Your relationship with him is very sarcastic.
You try being his ping pong mate. You start getting sarcastic.
How do you introduce ping pong?
I say, oh, yeah, do you want a drink? And then he'll be like, I'm all right. And I'm like, do you want a game? Kind of
And
simple.
you give him the special drink and he wakes up in the table tennis.
It's like...
Now, answer me this. What is he wearing?
What's he wearing?
When he wakes up.
When he wakes up.
Have you dressed him as a professional table tennis player?
No,
And strapped us to a mannequin? I'm sick of this!
So what are you thinking, Lee? Is this looking plausible?
Gabby.
I think it's true because he doesn't want to be too upfront with Paul, the handyman, so he invites him round to fix...
Handyman Paul.
Sorry, handyman Paul. With handyman Paul for ping pong. Ping pong Paul.
Even that name is better. Ping Pong Paul.
Ping Pong Paul.
So what are we thinking?
I think it's a lie.
So Romesh says it's a lie.
Yeah.
I think it's true.
Gabby says it's true.
Difficult
It's got to be a
decision.
lie.
It's a lie. OK, Tinchy, truth or lie?
Everything I was saying was all true.
Yes, it's true. Tinchy does like to play ping pong with the man that comes round to fix things in his house. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. Now, this week, each of Lee's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest, and it's up to David's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Georgia. So, let's start with Gabby. What is Georgia to you?
This is Georgia, and when she fell down a manhole, I was unable to help her because I couldn't stop laughing.
Right, so, Romesh, how do you know Georgia?
This is Georgia. I have an irrational fear of sock puppets, and last year I had to leave a children's party when she put one on.
Right. And finally, Lee, what's your relationship with Georgia?
This is Georgia. After spending a weekend at her hotel, I drove home only to find her cat asleep in the boot of my car.
So there we have it. Gabby's mate in a manhole, Romesh's sock scarer, or Lee's lost cat lady. David's team, where do you want to start?
So, Gabby, what were the circumstances of George's accident?
We had been shopping.
To your friends?
Yes.
How do you know each other?
She used to be my next door neighbour.
So how old were you when this happened, the manhole incident?
About 13.
And describe the mishap, if you can keep a straight face.
We'd been shopping and the bus was coming and I said, run for the bus. And then I heard a scream and suddenly I realised that she'd fallen down a manhole.
You see, that to me, that would have really hurt.
I think if you're running, you don't fall vertically down a small opening.
Well,
not
she's
in
only
real
little.
life. She's still able to run with a big enough stride to not fall directly down a manhole.
But what if you had, like, a titchy strider doing it?
So, she got out, and what was the extent of her injuries?
How bad is this story? She only started walking 6 months ago.
She had a very bad...
Chin.
Chin? She'd broken her fall with her chin.
She wasn't even touching the floor. She was just resting her chin. She going, what's up? I can't speak because I'm full.
The key question there is what Jack alluded to, is that if you're running along, you've got forward momentum.
Yes.
And only one foot will be where the manhole is,
Yeah, but
not
that
both feet.
tallies with what she's saying, because one foot we're going, you go forward and chin.
No, it's not very. No, they're not very wide manholes. Because
No, it's
manholes are about, you know, they're only, you know. To go down it like that, you'd have to be aiming for it, wouldn't you? You'd have to be doing run, jump, legs together. Right, Romesh, you have a fear of sock puppets.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
OK, I believe you. Why?
It's this. I find that like a snake.
At any point, they can just turn towards you.
Yeah. You know, it's the unpredictability of it. You know, like, it's not fun.
No.
You know, they've got the sock puppet there, then you're sitting down, they go, oh, that's not funny, that's terrifying. It's horrible.
And what was the occasion with Georgia? What?
Well, I don't actually know Georgia that well. What happened was that I was going to a kid's birthday party with my children.
OK.
And the problem that we have is that our oldest child is very, you know, sort of chilled out and he just has a nice time. The second one is, well, he's not. And so we arrived at the party and just sort of his behaviour was unacceptable. He was shoving kids and it was sort of getting pretty embarrassing and we were trying to control it. And so basically she saw that there was an emergency situation. I sort of wandered over and she was reaching into her pocket to pull out what I hoped was a gun. But it turned out to be the sock puppet. And she put the sock puppet on and then, here he comes again, hello.
She says a lot of it's unpredictable. It's not unpredictable.
Yeah, but you don't know
you
don't know what the puppeteer might do, what they might think is
Well,
funny.
they're either going to do that or that.
Yeah.
No, but they can do that.
Yeah,
attack.
But it's not the sock is not what enables them to do that. In many ways, any human might suddenly do that to you. That's the risk we live with whenever we interact.
I'm not...
Is that what you're thinking when you're chatting? Look at that strange look you give me when we're having a drink afterwards and you've got that constant...
I always think with you, give it a couple of yards, so if you suddenly do that, you can get away.
So how did you react, Romesh?
I just sort of grabbed my son and I went, I'll get him, I'll sort him out, don't worry, thank you, ha ha ha. And just tried to not look. And then I just sort of ran out of the party into the back garden.
Right. She's not going to come after you with the sock.
No, if she'd have come out to the garden with like this,
Yeah.
I would have just knocked her out. Like this.
So, Lee, cat in car post hotel, I've written down.
That's her name, yeah?
Yeah.
What kind of cat was it, Lee?
Oh, it's a black one.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of hotel?
Red.
What kind of car?
Blue.
He was there for the weekend.
I'd taken my wife away for a weekend in a boutique hotel in the New Forest. The Old Forest wasn't doing it for me.
Right. Had you got home when you discovered the cat?
Yes, I'd got home and I opened up the boot to let the wife out. No. I'd opened up the boot to get the luggage out.
And there was a flattened cat.
No. What had happened is I opened up the boot of the car. I'd gone into the hotel because I put my bag in, but my wife was chatting away to someone. I was trying to get her away. Says, come on, we should probably drift off now. That's when the cat had jumped in.
And you drove back home.
Drove back home.
No incident, no sound of purring or yowling that you couldn't attribute to your wife.
Yeah, no, I just... a bit rude, David. And shame, mate, let yourself down. Still doing all that old-school comedy, I think. And we hadn't heard anything. We had the radio playing quite loudly, and we all know that the sound of Spandau Ballet is a lot louder than...
And you remembered when you saw the cat in the car, that's the cat from the hotel?
Yeah, I mean, a jet black cat in a hotel. You don't see a lot of cats in hotels anyway, do you?
No, you don't anymore, because you take them home in your car. Did you just drive them straight back?
I immediately rang the hotel and said the bacon's a bit burnt, but whatever. I've got your cat. And she said, "Bombing egg, all right, next time I won't cook it so much." I mean, no, it's not a threat, I'm just letting you know I've got your cat. That was just an aside. I'm not going to start sending you, like, an ear and then a paw. I mean, you're getting the cat back. Well, eventually.
OK.
But no, so I said, why don't we meet halfway? We'll meet at a service station and I will give you the cat.
So, David's team, we need an answer. Is Georgia Gabby's mate in a manhole, Romesh's sock scarer, or Lee's lost cat lady?
Any initial instincts?
Feels like none of them know Georgia.
I'm not buying it about the sock puppets, although it is definitely possible.
The problem that we have here is that not all of you are telling the truth.
knows true.
I think Gabby knows, Georgia. That's my instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're going manhole?
Yeah.
Manhole? Manhole?
Let's call her Gabby.
Gabby, please.
Far ruder than I ever intended it to be. I'm so sorry. That was just... If I thought that through, I would never have said that.
So, we're saying that it's Gabby.
Gabby
It's
who's
the
telling the
manhole.
truth,
OK,
yeah.
Georgia, would you please reveal your true identity?
My name is Georgia. I'm friends with Gabby, and I fell down the manhole.
Yes, Georgia is Gabby's fallen friend. Thank you very much, Georgia. Thank you. Which brings us to our final round, quick-fire lies. And we start with... It's Jack.
I had to reprimand my builder after I came home early one day and caught him eating donuts in the bath.
Please, team.
How did you reprimand him?
I said, what do you think you're playing at? What's going on?
Were they the ones with jam in the middle or the rings?
What, the donuts or the bath?
The donut.
Well, they're a popular brand. They were Krispy Kreme. Other brands are available, but that's what he was eating.
What did he say when you said, what the hell are you playing at?
He said, oh, so I didn't know you were coming home. In mitigation, the bath wasn't filled with water. It actually wasn't even plumbed in yet, but he was lying in it and just taking a bit of a break, having some donuts, having my donut.
Did you offer him biscuits and donuts beforehand, before you left that day?
Certainly not, no. Because I wanted him to plumb the bath in. And lay on a load of confectionery, he's not going to get on with the work. But anyway, he helped himself anyway. What upset me is he'd gone into the kitchen and helped himself to the...
Are they yours? They
to
hadn't
the
been brought
donuts.
in.
No, they were mine. That's exactly
How many
right.
donuts were there?
We bought 36 because we were...
What are you doing with 36 donuts?
Well, because we were expecting friends around because it's a new house.
And you were having this housewarming, curiously, before the bathroom had been finished.
Yes, I'm concerned about your plumbing.
Yeah, well, you know, the builder...
The first time a woman said that to Jack.
The builder... The loo was done. In fact, one of them wasn't done, but yes.
I'm obsessed with the boldness of taking a whole box to the bathroom. More so than getting in the bath.
Yeah.
I don't care where he's sat.
I agree.
How far would he have...
You don't care if a builder was in your house and sat in your empty bath?
Not only after it's been plumbed in does that bother me.
Oh, so an empty bath that's not plumbed in, you don't mind anybody sitting in your empty bath?
Could wee in it for all I care. It's empty. It's not plumbed in. Can I just say, if you're thinking of breaking into my house, that was a joke. Do not urinate in my bath.
I must say I agree with Lee. I think an unplumbed bath is still the builder's province.
Yeah.
Once it's plumbed in, they've signed off on it. Then it's yours. It's your place of washing. Before then, who knows?
So anybody can go and sit in an unplumbed bath? Not
Not anyone. No, a qualified builder slash donut eater.
I want to know if the party still happened, though.
Everyone arrived, didn't they? They didn't know this had happened.
Was this a showbiz event? Because I don't remember getting the invite.
Yeah. Are you in showbiz, are you, Lee?
All right. Come on. There's no need for that, Jack. Lee, what are you thinking?
I don't know, Romesh, what do you think?
I find your idea of serving donuts at a party unacceptable.
That is unacceptable.
And if I turn up to a party expecting donuts and then they said there are no donuts, you know what I'd say? Well, at least can I just have a hot bath? And you can't even offer that. I think it's a lie.
Gabby?
Must be lying.
Both say it's a lie. I'll go with my team and say it's a lie.
All right, you're saying it's a lie. Jack, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Jack didn't catch his builder eating donuts in the bath. Next. It's Gabby.
If I'm ever worried about something silly, I write it on a sheet of loo roll, eat it, and the worry goes away.
David's team.
Right, but only if you're worried about something silly.
Well, it's those little things. You know, those things that just bug you and you can't get out of your mind.
No. What sort of silly worry, then?
You know when you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and it's those little things. Did I close the cat flap, or did I put the rubbish out, or...
That's up to the cat.
Did I turn the lights off? All of those. The little silly things. So then I go to the bathroom and I write it down.
It's not quicker just to check whether you've turned the lights off.
No, because the bathroom's closer than going all the way downstairs.
Is it an ensuite,
Got
Gabby?
ensuite.
No, it's not.
Tingy's off again. Is it en suite? Mine is. I didn't put it in at the same time as the conservatory.
And the ping pong room.
There's a lot of money in grime, I'll have you know.
So it's like it's silly, domestic.
Oh, it's just
have I locked the
silly
back door?
things.
That sort of thing.
When the kids go swimming at school with school, I
Yes.
sometimes worry that their swim kit isn't ready.
What happens if you wake up in the night and worry about all the loo roll you've been eating?
So what do you do when you got bigger worries?
Then I don't write it on the loo roll.
Oh, what do you write on? What do you
Kitchen
eat?
roll.
No, that...
Kitchen roll.
So, OK, let's say you're worried about swim. Swim. You write swim on a
Yeah.
bit of loo roll, and then is that a whole piece?
Yeah, but just one section, not the
Just
whole
well, it's
roll.
a lot. It's not a lot of loo roll, but it's a lot to eat.
No, they're only little.
But they're not food.
And it's paper.
I mean, this is only little, but I don't fancy my chances of getting it down me. No, it's not like a sandwich.
No, but I don't want a sandwich in the middle of the night.
But just a delicious... just a delicious piece of loo roll with a slight flavour of ink.
What was the first worry that led you to go around loo roll and eat the loo roll?
Yeah.
Do you know, it was probably when I was young. I think I was worried about doing my exams and things like that. So I put the subject that I was worried about and I just chewed it up and it went away. The worry went away.
Yeah. Did you do well in the exam?
No.
Okay.
We know that was the worry, but what all the rational people here are still wondering is, OK, I'm worried, but why am I writing on toilet paper and then eating it?
Because I wanted to go and sit in the light and the bathroom light is on.
Good, fine, yes.
And I needed a wee.
Right.
But what's the logic?
Because I thought that people say that if you write things down, it takes the worry away.
Yeah,
Well,
not
they don't
just
say if you
writing
write
down.
it down and eat it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you think...
I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know how else to get rid of the loo paper.
OK, so it's...
Well, you're on the toilet! So what do you think?
I'm on the last side.
I'm thinking it's a lie.
I think we think it's a lie.
OK, conclusively, a lie. Gabby, truth or lie?
It's actually a lie.
And that noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show, and I can reveal that David's team have won by 3 points to 2. But it's not just a team game, and my individual liar of the week this week is Tinchy Strider. And Tinchy's invited us now to hang with his crew and get on the decks. So thank you, Tinchy. I love a regatta. Good night. Good evening and welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show where honesty is never the best policy. On Lee Mack's team tonight, a comedian who studied quasi-zero-dimensional mesoscopic electrical systems at university. Just to explain that to Lee, university is like a school for grown-ups. Ben Miller. And And a comedian who used to work in a German sausage factory. He said the worst part was delicious. Henning Wren! And on David Mitchell's team tonight, an actress currently starring in the sitcom Plebs, set in ancient Rome, where she enjoys being attended to by slaves and taking part in orgies. I'm afraid tonight it's just a box of Twiglets. Doom McKeehan. And a man who has a degree in sports journalism. It's a 2-2. It would have been a 2-1, but they equalised in the last minute. From the last leg, Alex Brooker. And so to round one, Home Truths, where our panellists each read out a statement from the card in front of them. Now, to make things harder, they've never seen the card before. They've no idea what they'll be faced with, and it's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. Ben is first up tonight. Please reveal all.
Aside from my friend Mark Park, I have...
I think we can end it there.
I have 3 other good friends whose names rhyme.
Let's not rush any questions. Just never mind
I'm
rushing
sorry,
the
Ben, I'm going to
questions.
have to ask you for the names of the friends.
Very
as as you
quickly.
can.
Right
You take
now.
your time. You take your time.
Richard Pritchard.
That rhymes. To be fair, that's right.
Yeah.
Mark Park.
No, we've had Mark Park. There's three other friends on top of Mark Park.
Richard Pritchard.
You need 2 more.
Dave Clave. Yeah. Angie Ranji.
And what's Richard Pritchard's job? How do you know him?
I know him from school, and he's a quantity surveyor.
How do you know Angie Ranji? Where did you meet her?
Well, funnily enough, she was in an acting class with me on the Isle of Wight.
Where did you run into Dave Clave?
Please say her, Rave.
I was in a band with him, he played drums.
So, all of these people have lived their lives with matching forenames to surnames. Have none of them ever, like, said, you know what, I think this sounds ridiculous, I might change it?
Well, Richard hasn't, because, you know, it's a common Welsh name. It is particularly common to have the same first name as your surname.
Hugh Hughes.
Evan Evans, Thomas Thomas.
Yeah.
I bet you're wishing you thought of them earlier.
These friends of yours, are they in a small social circle? For example, has Richard Pritchard ever met Angie Ranji?
Dave Clave has met Richard Pritchard.
Under what circumstances?
My 40th birthday.
Why didn't Angie Ranji go?
I was in a production of Twelfth Night with Angie Ranji on the Isle of Wight, and we only knew each other for the period of one summer in about 1991. She was a friend of mine, but she wasn't at my 40th birthday, whereas Dave and Richard were.
And why did Mark Park not make the birthday party count?
We're not that close of friends.
Oh. So why do you think you and Mark have never really... you know, gelled?
Well, quantity survey, you know, I guess, you
So
know...
Mark's a quantity surveyor?
Yeah.
I thought Richard Pritchard was a quantity surveyor. What's Richard Pritchard again?
He's a chartered surveyor.
Chartered surveyor, yeah.
Which one? Are they both? Are they in a practice? Park and Pritchard?
Does this have the ring of truth?
Well, do you know it did before the quantity surveyor? I think he said Richard Pritchard was the something surveyor.
He said chartered surveyor for Richard Pritchard.
And
Now
then
we've got
then-
a quantity surveyor.
For Mark Park. But if the surveyor's thing is... If Ben has planted that surveyor doubt in our minds, then that's so brilliant it deserves the point.
I agree.
So I think...
So you're going to say...
Lie?
Lie.
Lie. Saying it's a lie. Ben, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
It's a lie. Ben doesn't have 4 good friends whose names rhyme. And Henning, you're next.
I was once arrested by border guards for illegally entering another country.
David's team, what do you think?
Which country?
It was in the mid-90s.
That's not a country.
No. And it was in Eastern Europe, so they changed names very quickly. So I'm not sure. It was either Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia. I don't know which...
You know what stage of its
exactly.
dissolution it was at. Yeah. And what was the problem?
I didn't have my passport.
Right.
Where had you left your passport?
At home.
Who were you with, by the way? Were you on your own, or
No, I
was
was with a friend from back home, Pete.
a friend in the pit?
No, with a person called Pete.
Is that his real name? Or is that a nickname?
Pete.
Oh, Pete.
No, P-I-T.
Oh, Pete.
Oh, Pitt. He's called Pitt.
Like Brad Pitt, but
Yeah.
Pitt is his first name.
Otherwise, I would say Pete.
Yeah.
We were travelling on something that was called Schönes Wochenend-Ticket. And
That's German for National Express.
now what it is German for, you can use any train you like as long as it's a slow train.
We have that system with all of our trains. OK, so you get off the train at the border.
You do.
Is it at that moment you realise you don't have your passport?
Yes. So we wanted to go into Czechoslovakia. So I didn't have my passport. So the obvious thing to do is don't go across where the border guards are, but go a mile off into the fields and cross there. If then someone wants to see your passport, you say, oh, I must have lost it.
Roughly how far into Czechoslovakia, in whatever form it was, were you?
I was about, give or take, a mile. I see in the distance, I see like 2 lights, 2 white lights. They're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then I realise it's a Jeep. And then they're driving towards us.
I'm quite gripped by this story.
The Jeep then just stopped, and then there is 4 people jumping out with automatic rifles and dogs.
Automatic dogs.
What sort of dogs were they?
I didn't ask for their names. But...
Neither did Alex.
They were terrifying dogs, probably Alsatians or something.
What happened? They're all around you. So
Well,
what
they
do
all
they say?
jump out with their rifles, don't they? And then saying, or whatever their language is. So, and then we had to gain the Jeep, and then we were driving off into Czechoslovakia, and then we ended up in some woods. One of them jumps out, opens a gate, and I didn't even see was there. Then there is some little wooden hut. And was someone in there that spoke German. We got on well with that fella, and our excuse was that we said, we had no idea that we crossed the border.
Yeah.
So, and then, well, they didn't fully buy it, but they knew there was little point executing us.
What happens then?
And now the funny story begins. They said, you'll have to pay a penalty.
Oh, the Germans and penalties.
That
Not
penalty...
Never again, please.
Then the Czechs drove us back to the German border, handed us over to the German border guards, and then they congratulated us on being the first illegal immigrants from Germany into Czechoslovakia.
Well, there we are. David, what are you and your team thinking?
It's the travel card thing. It just seems right.
No, I think on an emotional level, having spent so long hearing that story, I sort of need it it to be true. Yeah. We need something.
We need it to be true
Yeah.
because a lot of our life went into that.
So
yes,
you're going to
on
say
that
true?
emotional level, I think we have to say true.
You're saying it's true. Henning, truth or lie?
Well, that story is actually true.
Yes, that was true. Henning did get arrested for illegally entering another country. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. Now, this week, each of Lee's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest, and it's up to David's team to spot who's telling the truth. So, please welcome this week's special guest, Nicola. So, Ben, first of all, what is Nicola to you?
This is Nicola, and she taught me how to talk to crows.
Henning, how do you know Nicola?
This is Nicola, and I told my parents to sack her as my babysitter because she failed to read my bedtime stories with enough emotion.
And finally, Lee, your relationship with Nicola.
This is Nicola. I once chased her for 40 miles down the M3 because I thought she'd stolen my phone.
David's team, where to begin?
So, Ben, why did you need to talk to crows?
Because, well, I'm writing a book, and...
My publisher is a crow.
and it's a book about aliens. So I got interested in the idea of communicating with other intelligences. Then I thought, are there any animals on Earth that we can communicate with? And I found out that Nicola was an expert on crows and had discovered they're very intelligent.
So what sort of thing have you learnt to say to crows?
Well, we're only really at the basic sort of introductory.
So is it like Green's like, hello, how are you?
Take me to your leader.
How to present yourself to a crow.
How do you present yourself to a crow?
So you go,
Hello, crow. Hello, crow. How are you, crow? Hello. Hello.
So that's what Nicola has been teaching you. That's how you talk to crows. You do that with your head and you go, hello, crow. How are you? Hello. When's your next lesson? And you'll be
do you have to block book?
how to say goodbye to a crow. And I've got a hunch about what it might be.
Right, David, who would you like to move on to?
Henning, what was wrong with the bedtime stories?
I didn't enjoy the way she read the bedside story to me.
What sort of stories? Give us an example.
She was reading Hansel and Gretel to me, and then the witch ends up in the oven. And she read that in a very compassionate way.
towards the witch.
Yeah, and the good thing at that point is all about the witch got what she had coming, and that's how I like the story read to me.
You didn't like any complexity in the character.
No, I
of
like the
witch.
complexity. I don't like the compassion towards the witch because she's a witch.
Okay, so Hansel and Gretel shoved the witch in the oven, slammed the door, turned it up to gas mark 6.
No, always preheat the oven before cooking the witch.
Let's assume it's preheated.
OK.
Slam the door, turn it up, and then walk out into the forest. How did she misdeliver that line?
Well, it was in German, so it was like...
Is she German?
Nicola, yeah.
Ah.
You mean yeah?
Yeah.
Nicola's a classic German name, isn't it?
Nicola. Nicola Schmidt.
So she was what, weeping for the witch, or what? What's...
I don't want to have to say this now, but I just didn't overly like her. That's obviously not how I told it to my parents, isn't it? I said to my parents, I said, yeah, she didn't put any butter on the bread and all that business, and didn't get me anything to drink, so, I mean...
So what did you do? I stuck her in the oven.
OK, what about Lee?
Oh, Lee's is not true. So, how did you come to the mistaken belief that she'd stolen your phone?
Well, it's an interesting story. I was on the border of Czechoslovakia. I was in a restaurant with my wife and children, and we left the restaurant and we got back to the house, and I suddenly realised my mobile phone was missing. So I thought... we came to the conclusion that my 2-year-old, who's always picking things up and running around tables, because, you know, I'm not a good parent and they can run around in restaurants, had picked it up and had done something with it. And so I looked at my iPad, which has a thing on it where it tells you where your phone is, an app, if you've lost your phone. So I pressed that.
You looked at your tablet, didn't you? As opposed to a specific.
Oh, as opposed to a specific one. Sorry, I looked at my tablet, which I'd previously bought from Curry's. So I decided I've got one of these handheld devices. Let's call it a tablet. And on this tablet, it tells you where your phone is.
Like an iPad.
Can I...
So I checked the app, and sure enough, my phone was doing the little blinky thing, and it was in a street not too far from the restaurant. So I thought, oh, well, maybe my child hasn't taken this phone at all. Maybe it's been stolen. So I rung my mate up straight away, because I'm a coward. I didn't want to go on my own. So he held the iPad. We drove off. We followed the little dot. But then, when we got close, the dot started moving. So we have to follow the dot.
Right.
The dot gets on the M3, and we're following the dot on the M3.
Right.
And we travel for about 40 miles.
But Nicola could have noticed you in the rear-view mirror, saying, I'm being followed by 2 weird men.
I think you'll find on motorways you're often followed by the same car for quite a while. How paranoid are you? He's been behind us for the last 5 minutes. We're on a motorway, David. I know, but something's not right. There's one beside me now. I wasn't right behind it because the dot was moving and I was chasing the dot for a long time. When we were probably about 5 miles away from the dot, because the dot was racing off ahead, we raced after, stopped and we sussed out that it was a service station on the M3. So we pulled into the service station.
Yeah.
And that's when the next thing happened. Give me a minute.
How could you tell which of the many cars parked in the service station?
That's a very good question.
Thank you.
I wish I had a very good answer. I phoned the phone.
Ah, very
Good, eh?
clever.
And it's at that point we see a woman getting out of a car, looking confused, and then looking inside a bag, a shopping bag, takes the phone out. And at this point, I think, that's my phone. And she looks innocent because she's looking all confused. To which I go over, I say, that's my phone. And she said, I, honest to God, have no idea how it got in there. And then I start thinking the 2-year-old did pick it up and put it in the bag. And so ends the case for the defence.
Right, we need an answer. So, David's team, is Nicola Ben's bird botherer, Henning's boring babysitter, or Lee's phone pincher? What do you think?
I got a funny feeling about the crows.
Yeah, I love the idea that you're spending your free time wiggling your head in front of a crow, talking in a high-pitched voice.
So, sorry, you two are leaning towards believing the crows. I'm finding the crow story the least convincing at the moment. I'm not saying it's impossible.
Do you believe Lee?
As a matter of principle, no. I think it's probably Henning. I think Henning's could have been the sort of vicious little child who would have her babysitter summarily dismissed for no good reason at all.
Which way are you going, Alex?
Do you know what? I'm going to stick my neck on the line. I think Lee.
Am I even
You
getting
think
a
it's
look
Lee?
in?
Yeah.
Doon?
I initially thought it was Lee. Completely, from the very beginning, when I heard what the 3 things were, I went, it's definitely Lee.
I'm not going to overrule. I wouldn't be surprised if it was Henning. We'll go for Lee.
You're saying it's Lee
Yeah.
with a little suspicion that it's Henning. OK.
Right.
Nicola, would you please reveal your true identity?
My name is Nicola, and I taught Ben how to talk to crows.
Thank you very much, Nicola. Which brings us to our final round, Quickfire Lives. And we start with... It's David.
I recently shooed a fox out of the garden by squirting it with water. 5 minutes later, I watched in horror as it returned with its brother and ate my plimsoll.
Please, team. What do you think?
I've never heard anything so middle class in all my life.
I want to picture it. So you're in your house and you see the fox in the garden. Now, you don't, with the greatest respect, you don't strike me as overly nimble.
No, I'm not overly nimble, but I'm just nimble enough.
Between 1 and 10, how quickly were you in the garden?
I went out in the garden at top speed for me,
Yeah.
which I'm afraid is now 6.7.
Anyway, you come out into the garden, you've got the hose, you see the fox.
And he sort of moves away a bit, shows a certain degree of fear of the alpha predator. He sees me and he thinks, do you know, I think I'm safe with this guy. And I thought, well, I can't have this. I can't have the fox thinking it's won. If I lose my power to frighten off foxes, what am I?
Can I answer that?
So I grab my hose and I swizzle some water at them. I don't want to soak the poor creature.
Did you put your thumb on the end?
So I did put my thumb on the end and I directed some water sort of towards the lawn, just kind of between him and me.
Yeah.
And that's enough. He's off.
I bet he went, after the fox went off, I bet he went.
Yeah.
I forgot he hadn't turned it off. Looked round sheepishly and thought, I better get those plimsolls.
Are you in your pyjamas?
I was wearing normal clothes.
Well, David, we've got a different opinion on what normal clothes
Yes,
did you have?
It was black tie, not white tie.
So, in a nutshell, you had a fox in your garden, you come out, water the thing out the garden, then a little while later, it comes back.
2 of them come back.
2 of them.
Now, where are you at this point?
I'm in the kitchen.
Right.
Noticing they've come back to the garden, thinking, dear, oh dear.
There was deer there as well.
and then one of the foxes goes and grabs this plimsoll that I keep by the shed.
Why?
For walking around the garden.
One plimsoll?
What? No, there's 2. I keep 2.
Tiny suggestion, why don't you keep the plimsolls near the back door so you don't have to get your feet wet if it's raining?
Well, you're full of home improvement ideas. I don't know, because I'm a moron.
What happens to the plimsoll?
One of them savages this shoe.
What's the other one doing?
I don't know. I don't speak fox.
If you want to do a proper impression of a fox, I know a woman. Providing you're a tad gullible, we'll show you exactly. So go on. So
I said, hello, Mr. Fox. I'm trying to communicate with you. Perhaps you could stop pooing on my lawn.
Right, Lee, what are you thinking?
Fundamentally, no Englishman leaves a pair of plimsolls as his garden footwear and keeps them by a shed.
So you're saying it's
a lie.
It's a lie?
Yeah, I think it's a lie.
Well, I'll go with my team, even though I think it's true.
Saying it's a lie. OK, David. Squirting foxes in the garden, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
I thought it was a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. David didn't squirt water at a fox only for it to return and eat his plimsoll. Next. It's Doon.
On the advice of an optician, I often walk with one eye open and one eye shut. That way, one of my eyes is always having a rest.
Lee.
Well, it's sensible. Even if she isn't doing it, she should. I will from now on.
When you say a rest, you mean just to give your eye a rest, or because you're having problems with your eyes?
No, just to rest the eyes. So, because I don't wear glasses and I don't want to wear glasses, so to exercise the eyes, it's good to just cover one eye. Now, I have worn a patch and just thought I look ridiculous.
But that doesn't make sense. The doctor wouldn't say to me, I don't want to end up in a wheelchair, or in that case, hop on different levels.
But don't you feel you strain your one eye that's still open?
Well, apparently not if you've got a slight stigmatism. So I didn't... Yes, I have got a slight stigmatism in my left...
Which eye is your stigmatism?
In my left eye.
I thought it was called an astigmatism.
Oh,
Well, it's
then
like you
I heard it wrong.
Yeah, but you call it a sausage. The thing isn't a sausage, is it? It's sausage, a sausage. Stigmatism, astigmatism.
Is it? Have
It's
I got an
astigmatism.
astigmatism?
You've got astigmatism. You've got a sausage.
No. Ben is right. Ben went to Cambridge.
It's an astigmatism.
Well, I went to Cambridge once.
Isn't...
So what? We all know where Cambridge is. Can I ask you, how long do you do each eye for?
If I'm walking out, probably only about 2 or 3 minutes. Whereas if I'm inside, do it like that when you're working.
Oh, do you cover? You actually walk along like that down the street?
I have walked along like that. As I said, I did wear a patch at one point and felt stupid.
People must be thinking you've forgotten something when you... Oh.
When did the optician give you this advice?
Probably about 8 years ago when I started to get headaches.
Maybe he was busy. Was it like 5 to 5 and he was locking up? Just put your hand over this and go away. Was it like that?
He's one of the leading, you know...
He's one of the leading...
eye specialists on Harley Street.
OK. What do you think, Lee?
I think she should have gone to Specsavers.
What's it going to be, then?
Well, I think that's the sort of thing people might do.
Now,
If
I want to know
you're
what you
any
mean.
good-
Do you mean the optician might say that?
No, they have got a reputation.
If you
for
don't
those.
believe that, then it's got to be a lie. Because she's saying he said that.
No, he wouldn't have said that.
Then it's a lie.
It's a lie, then.
And Ben, you think it's a lie, don't you?
It's not true. I mean, apart from anything, you go to Harley Street, you're paying a lot of money, the man's going to sell you some glasses, isn't he? He's not going to say, just walk down the street.
You'll say it's a lie.
Saying it's a lie. OK, so do. The eyes, the optician, Harley Street. Truth or lie?
It is... lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Doom doesn't walk with one eye open and one eye shut. And that noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show. And I can reveal that Lee's team have won by 3 points to 2. But, of course, it's not just a team game. And my individual liar of the week this week is Ben Miller.
Oh, fantastic.
Ben Miller. When it comes to lying, I'm ashamed to say he's so shameless it's shameful, which is a shame. Good night.